Hey, this is Rick, and welcome to Spit Take. And I am here with my co host, Adam
Hello.
and Steph.
Hello.
And I don't know what you guys thought of everything that has came out and happened the last couple days, um, especially with we had the Super Bowl where Kansas City Chiefs got walloped.
The
Thank
Kansas
God.
City.
I think a lot of people were happy with that, except for Kansas City. Um, and not Taylor Swift, who got booed at the Super Bowl. Uh, and then, uh, if you don't like rap and Kendrick Lamar, apparently you're racist. Um, and a couple trailers came out. Fantastic Four looks like it's gonna be. I know Steph said she didn't see it. I know me and Adam talked about it a little bit. Set in a retro '60s, so it's not even in the MCU universe. It's in the multiverse, and it what I think was more of a accurate comic book accurate thing. It had I forget what her name is. It had a female Silver Surfer, uh,
Yeah.
which I guess makes sense for the multiverse. I know a lot of people are complaining about that, but it is a character that is in the comics. I forget her name, and a different. I don't know what was going on with that Galactus. Didn't look like a big Galactus going on there,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought it looked interesting. I don't know what they plan to do with this Fantastic Four quite yet, but it did look interesting with the retro look, the futuristic retro look. I guess it's during the space race of the '60s. Who's going to be first to the moon, and I guess the Fantastic Four are going to be first to the moon.
I thought the trailer looked good. It's interesting. They kept the characters very comic accurate, which I thought was nice. What they do with them, we'll see. I'm very curious about how they're going about this whole retro '60s type vibe and everything because it. And at a point, like they have to do it in a multiverse. That's not part of the MCU universe because at this point, everybody would have known the Baxter Building. They would have known Mister Fantastic, the Fantastic Four in general, but like they've never been mentioned before in the movies and the shows, anything. So to bring,
Yeah, well, I don't know. It was just to me. I was like, well, where are they going to do it the same like they did with Carol Danvers, Hank Pym,
mm,
where they existed in the universe,
right,
you know, but it wasn't really, you know, really talked about. But then oh here they are, and then we're just going to go back and then introduce them, and they were always a part of the history.
right, yeah, I'm curious to how it's going to go. There's another part to it too, though. I think just with the MCU in general. So, Deadpool and Wolverine did kind of the same thing, right? Different universe, but yet he uses the Cable's watch to cross over into Earth 616 to talk to Happy Hogan about joining the Avengers and stuff. Um, so we know that Deadpool and Wolverine are not in the same universe. So eventually, and we know that the multiverses are going to start coming together for some of the bigger Avenger movies, and it allows them to kind of exist in their own place, but also to be used when they do the big stuff.
um so there is a theory that there will be like an anomaly that like that female Silver Surfer uh, will warn the Fantastic Four of that they need a certain energy or whatever, and that will be why the Fantastic Four, and that probably has to do with Galactus,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why the Fantastic Four go to 616.
Yeah,
to for help with that.
Well, and Reed
Arrived
Richards.
before the blip in
Yeah.
current day. People are in dust. Ben staying out of the public eye. Uh, Doom may appear in the end, offering Ben when he's help when he's at rock bottom. Galactus hunting Doctor Doom as he's escaping the world. Like there's a big theory about you know Galactus and how that how him destroying Earth, and that's why they have to go to 616 to save Earth and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, and, Reed Richards, as we know, is no stranger to messing with the multiverse. He's the reason that the zombie outbreak happens in Marvel Zombies, because
Right.
he's dicking around in other universes. So, and he creates. God, what was it? It was the. I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was one of the prisons that they had, because there was like the raft and the cube, and then there was one that he created that was in like a antimatter universe or something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but he created one of the prisons there.
Yeah, I did. I was watching the second season of What If. That was more focused on what's her name, Peggy, Captain Britain.
Oh yeah,
That was. I started watching the third season. I guess I just stopped watching it. I gotta go back and watch that though.
I
Wasn't
think
as good as the first season though.
I only watched the first season.
The first season was so good.
It was very good.
I think the second season was kind of disappointing.
I've
If I
watched
was
zero
you.
seasons.
You should watch the first season.
The what
It was
ifs are
centered
pretty good.
around Doctor
Mm.
Strange. It was very Doctor Strange esque, and the ending was very crazy.
Yeah,
So the Fantastic Four movies, weren't they didn't do well, right?
I think they
Is
did.
that what
The
I'm
first one
thinking?
did.
yeah. The first one did. Rise of the Silver Surfer was probably not as well
I
received.
think a lot of people were disappointed with it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I didn't mind it because I had Silver Surfer.
yeah. I
But
like the first two.
I'm kind of like it doesn't take much to please me. Ask my wife. But
Hmm.
Wait, Chris Evans was in that, right?
Yeah,
yeah, he's a Human Torch. That's
Yeah.
why if you watch the new Deadpool, uh, Daredevil or Deadpool, Wolverine,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
and they're like, "Did you have you watched that?"
yeah,
I watched a part of it. I didn't finish it. I think I fell asleep
They
because
were
it was like
all
late.
excited, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Then they thought it was going to be Captain America,
Yeah.
but it was Human Torch
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I vaguely recall this, but
because if you watch it, it's all Fox characters.
yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Which
had
I
to
will
have
be
that
meeting
explained to me.
the original Fox Sabretooth in a couple weeks.
yeah. It was a very good movie. I like the way they did it.
Is
Some
Adam
of
can
it
it,
doesn't make sense.
yeah, as Adam can attest, when I watch these movies, I have a lot of questions because I don't know the backstory, which is probably why Adam doesn't watch them with me ever.
I
I
gotta watch it again. The freaking Wolverine Deadpool fights where he's like nerd boner and,
yeah,
and the fight in the car. That was so good. There's so much blood everywhere.
Hmm.
yeah. That was such. It was. They had some like really good parts in that movie. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't really make sense in it, but it's okay because it's Deadpool.
But what's his name as Gambit? So good, and he's
Oh, he's
supposed to be
Channing
back
Tatum.
too.
I have a feeling they'll bring him back because that had to be a fan favorite that showed up in there. I don't
Oh, he
think
was
he could
great.
lead his own movie, but
I think he could.
I don't know if he could lead his own movie with that character. But I think that he
I
could
think
be
he
a
could.
very good supporting character.
I'd watch it.
I did like seeing Wesley Snipes back as Blade.
Oh yeah.
That was
Oh, he was
incredible.
in there?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't get that part.
yeah.
Mhm.
So Wesley Snipes was back as Blade. Jennifer
Yeah.
Garner was back as Elektra.
Yeah. What's his name? Fire.
Pyro.
Pyro. Pyro's back.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. Sabretooth was back.
Sabretooth was back for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Toad
Yeah,
was
there's
there.
a lot of those Marvel, X-Men, and and the Fantastic, Human Torch and stuff like that was back.
Yeah, but I like seeing Blade, and I like his whole thing. There's only ever going to be one Blade,
Hmm. Well, except
which
for
was a dig at Disney.
Muhammad, what's his face is supposed to be Blade, which was announced like 8 years ago and still
I
hasn't
know. Well,
happened.
they keep pushing it back, and then they're canceling it, and then they're bringing it back, or the directors quit. Like they just don't know how to do it, which is a shame because Blade set the standard for rated R comic book movies forever. He
Yeah.
set the standard
Oh
because
yeah.
that was Blade was one of the greatest movies ever made, greatest comic book movies ever made for
It
sure.
is, and it was like as far as modern day comic book movies go, it is the original.
Yeah, and it didn't rely too heavily on special effects.
Hmm.
It's was very simple, and they did it really well. They told a good story. I mean,
Yeah.
that first scene, the iconic first scene of him walking
Mhm.
into that vampire club and just
Mhm.
massacring
Hmm.
all those vampires, just unafraid, walking in there, ready to do battle. Like it's such a badass scene.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't know that that was a comic book.
Hmm.
Um, so that's interesting. But also, I remember you being like, "You got to watch this," and I did, and that scene brought me into it. And then I fell in love with Deacon Frost,
Deacon
right?
Frost. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah. It was. They did such a good job with that movie, and that was Guillermo del Toro. I don't know. I don't know for sure if he did the second and third movies too. They were not as good. Well, the second one wasn't bad. The third one was okay. But like the first one, he did such a great job, and I think that's what really cemented Guillermo del Toro for me as like a really good director. It was like where I first kind of recognized his work.
Hmm.
But I know he's done stuff before that, and since then he's done quite a few really good movies. I want to watch. He's got I think a show on Netflix, Cabinet of Curiosities, and I
You
want to
know, it
watch
was
that.
really
Oh yeah.
good, and I've watched it once. I need to watch it again, but it was I think it was like it was like in Spanish. Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, I heard that was good. I've never seen that
That
one.
was such a good movie. I was so enamored by it. It was a fantasy type of movie, which I just since Never Ending Story and stuff like that, I've always loved Legend and Dark Crystal and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Labyrinth, I've always loved that. But he did Hellboy.
Yep.
So yeah, Guillermo del Toro is one of the greats, if you ask me. Uh, oh, he did like before that. He did Mimic.
Oh, did he? I didn't know he
Yeah,
did Mimic.
and that was like one of the first movies I seen a naked girl. So,
Yeah.
That's what sold
so
you.
Yeah.
that's like probably not one of the first, but
Yeah.
that's
That's a
probably
good
why I
movie though.
watched it.
Yeah.
But like it was a naked girl who like ate people's heads or something. I don't
Yeah.
remember. I just remember like
It
I
was
was
very
watching it from a
vicious.
naked girl right before she killed somebody, turned into
It
a
was,
monster and killed somebody.
it was a very vicious naked woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, but yeah, his work is always excellent, and I know like I read a couple of the books he's written too, which were really good. They really go into like the supernatural stuff still. Um, so I mean, yeah, he's fantastic. I hope they give him more work. I hope they give him some work in the MCU. That'd be cool. Actually, they had tapped him at one point to do Justice League Dark, but then they scrapped that
That'd be
project.
good. He'd be perfect for that.
Yeah, he was supposed to do the Justice League Dark, and then they scrapped the whole project because he was originally tied to it, and he was writing the story and directing, and that was a shame that never got made. But I think we're gonna see it with the new DCU
I can
because
see.
they've already got a Swamp Thing movie coming. I wouldn't be surprised if they did a Constantine movie.
He's got a Frankenstein coming up.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
He just did a Pinocchio one too. I think.
He did a Pinocchio. He's got scary. He's doing scary stories to tell in the dark too,
I
which I
didn't see
did
the
like the
first one.
first one.
I didn't see the first one. I want to watch
The
that.
first one was pretty good, and which is great because it was, you know, uh, the books were classic.
Yeah, I have the book in my nightstand next to my bed.
I don't know why those were in our grade school libraries because those pictures were frightening as hell,
Oh yeah,
give you nightmares.
I'm gonna have to look this up now. I feel like I read it, but
you have.
You
I've read
yeah,
had
it.
to because you're my age because
yeah,
those were
I
in like every classroom.
Yeah, I think you bought me the book.
huh? Maybe
Oh yeah,
if
the
you,
It's like right there with where the sidewalk ends. Like
yeah.
it's one of those books where it's like everybody had it in their schoolroom.
yeah, I'll have to look up the pictures and see. I usually remember based off of like what the cover looks like.
I'm surprised they never made a movie for where the sidewalk ends.
I
Yeah.
don't remember
That
that.
seems like you don't know that it's like a book of poetry,
That
kids
was
book of
Roald Dahl,
poetry,
wasn't it?
huh?
Wasn't that Roald Dahl?
Oh yeah, probably. That sounds familiar.
I wasn't very into
No, Shel
poetry.
Silverstein. Shel Silverstein.
But that was yeah. But that was just a book that was in all classrooms. Like
Mm.
when you weren't doing class, you were looking at the books.
I was in advanced classes because I was very smart, so that might not have been in mine. I know
I'm
it's
sure
weird,
it was. I'm sure books were in your advanced class.
like smart books.
What did you have? Freaking I don't know smart books. So I was gonna say something smart, but I don't. I'm not smart.
I don't know. But I was a big reader too, so like I would try to find like those really thick books to like keep me
Where the
entertained.
sidewalk ends is pretty thick.
Yeah, it's an anthology.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. Miss of Avalon, that was my jam. I don't know how many times I read that, but
I read very classic novels. Okay, I read Three Musketeers. I read Wizard of Oz. I read like those thick classic novels.
mm,
I
I,
I read a lot of Tom Clancy. I really
I
like the Tom Clancy books,
I think
which
I
has made me.
read.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say reading all the Tom Clancy books is what's made me sad. Seeing all the Tom Clancy movies that come out and they're just not up to par with what he wrote. And I know he always hated the movies that they made of his work.
Yeah, but isn't that the usual
Yeah. Well, the
for
last one that
everybody?
they did, Without Remorse, which is my favorite Tom Clancy book, they did it with Michael B. Jordan. Uh, it was on Amazon. It was an Amazon movie release, and it had potential from the trailer, and then when it got into it, it had nothing to do with what the book had, and it just pissed me off. And I was like, this movie fucking sucks.
I
But
don't remember that.
they have the new Witcher movie cartoon. They have like a Witcher animated
I
movie
saw
out,
that.
and I was gonna watch it today, but I continued watching One Piece instead.
Yeah.
But I do want to watch it. Let me see what ratings it's getting.
I watched
It's getting
I
3 stars on IMDb.
uh, 3 out of how many?
5.
Okay.
Let's check on Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is getting 60%. So it's still fresh, or it's still red. It's
Yeah.
not rotten. So I guess it's like okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which is rough because the first season of The Witcher was absolutely amazing. The second season was pretty good too. It just took 5 years to make.
But then it's starting to stink Henry Cavill up
Yeah.
because, like, he's saying it's getting bad.
Yeah.
And
Um,
what's his name? It's taking
Liam.
over, and it's like, well, it's not the same.
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah. So, I know I didn't even watch the third season of The Witcher. It just like it gets. I would say it was like one of those sneaky releases for a season, which usually tells me how good it is.
Let's see what the rating of season 3 of The Witcher is. It's actually 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.9 on IMDb.
Hmm.
50%, 4% by audiences though.
Yeah.
So
I'll
it's
have
rotten by audiences.
yeah, I'll have to watch it and at least catch up on that because I did really like the first two seasons. They were pretty good. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I think I just kind of like lost track of what was going on by the third season.
Yeah, well, that was it.
It's
Was the when they got to the second season, it had been so long since the first season. Like Siri, like it's supposed to take place like right after the first season, but Siri's like 4 years older.
it's starting to become convoluted. Well, I guess in the new game series, it's supposed to be Siri,
Yeah, yeah. The new Witcher game is supposed to be
which
Siri.
I'm not upset about. I think Siri is a good character.
I read a lot of synopsis on that, and people were saying like if you ever read the books, like the books are not about Geralt. It's about Ciri. So it was like a natural progression that she takes over as the Witcher.
Well, I mean, Geralt was a Witcher for 3 games.
Yeah, right. But the main story kind of more centers, I guess, more so on the book side. I never read the
Well,
books,
I
but I
mean,
was
it's
hearing.
like, it's okay to pass on the torch.
Yeah. So
I guess people are just, I think people are caught up in the idea of DEI and all that stuff.
yeah, yeah. I did. I did just watch a movie that I don't recommend, but I want to bring it up so that people avoid it because it drew me in for one reason, and it was because it was a buddy cop movie with Bill Murray and Adam Driver. It's called The Dead Don't Die. Um, it came out in 2019. It had Danny Glover in it. It had Iggy Pop in it for a brief minute. It had actually quite a few big names, and I watched this movie Saturday afternoon while the kids were taking a nap, and the trailer makes it look like it's going to be funny. It's going to be a fun ride. The movie's just not good at all. It's like it's like they were trying to do something but didn't know exactly what they wanted to do. At one point, they start doing some meta shit talking about reading the script of the movie, and I was like, this doesn't even fit in here with the rest of the movie. It was like somebody's trying to do something artsy but failed miserably. Like, there were
Hmm.
no. I would love to say that there were any type of highlights in the movie, but there really aren't. Like, nothing about it was good. And like I said, the trailer drew me in, but it was not a good movie at all.
I think I did see that, and I think I didn't watch it because of the low reviews of it.
Yeah, save yourself the time.
Yeah, the reviews are terrible of
Mm-hmm.
it. And that's the flaw these days, is the reviews are so readily available.
Yeah.
Because it does look like it would be good. You're thinking Adam Driver, Bill Murray, what
Uh
can
huh.
go wrong?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, when's the last time you've seen Bill Murray?
Yeah.
And he is in movies. He's out there in movies too. Like he's been in,
Yeah.
but like he's not in any blockbusters.
Yeah. But Adam Driver, Bill Murray, like the two of them against zombies, you would think would be kind of a fun movie. It was not.
Yeah. What would possess somebody unless you're just gonna I don't know how much money they're taking for that, but what would possess somebody to take that movie?
I
Do you
think
think they thought it was gonna be good?
so. I think Bill Murray and the director had a history together, and they kind of got together to do that. I don't know if Adam Driver did. I think a lot of the people in the movie had some kind of relationship with the director. And from what I understand, he does some pretty good movies. So this one was just kind of a flop. What was that? Did you ever see? There was like a zombie movie that was like I would say it was like a first grade class or second grade class, like on a field trip, and the place turns out. I got to figure out what it is. Josh Gad was in it, and he was hilarious. It was kind of a comedy. Oh, I'm gonna look this up. Skip me. Come back to me later.
Little Monsters
Was that it? Maybe.
as I don't even know how to say her name. The woman from that. Oh, what's his? I can't think. I can never think this late. We are such good podcasters.
Little
I
Monsters is
know.
probably yes, it was Little Monsters. I watched that movie. That movie was actually for a zombie movie. That one was pretty good. It
Is
was
that the
pretty
one
funny.
with Ben Savage?
No, you're thinking that's the one from the '80s, which I think was also Little Monsters.
It's the looks like the woman from Us.
Oh, Lupita Nyong'o. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I don't want to say her name wrong.
yeah. So the movie itself was pretty funny. I think it didn't get very good reviews. I thought it was good. It's just about like this like kindergarten teacher who takes her kids on a field trip, and then people around there started turning into zombies. But Josh Gad is like this very like dickhead he was just a complete dick in the movie who like ran the place they were at for the field trip, and he's in this very flamboyant costume and everything, but he's just absolutely the worst. But everything he says is so funny. I love characters like that. I don't know. I recommend watching that one. That one's pretty funny.
Well, he's allowed to do stuff, I guess. He's allowed. He's allowed.
He's
What's
allowed.
on What's on your mind, Steph?
I mean, I want to talk about, this revival that we have coming up of Buffy.
Well, I guess that's a good segue from zombies.
That is. Buffy
Is
fought
it?
zombies at some point. She turned her mom into a zombie.
She did.
Well,
She did.
vampires are undead like zombies.
Yeah.
True, true. Super pumped about this. I am a huge Buffy fan and nerd, as if you've listened to any of our podcasts, we talk about. Um, I think that it's going to be really good. I kind of like looked a little bit into it, and I didn't read a whole lot 'cause I didn't want to. The problem is, like, I'm afraid like I'm going to get my hopes up, and then like, what if it sucks? Because it's like, how are they going to do this?
Two things
Like,
kind of stand out to me that makes me think it'll be good. Number one is Sarah Michelle Gellar signed back on board, and she hasn't done anything for a while. She's been a stay-at-home mom, so for her to come out of retirement, from not I guess I shouldn't say retirement, but out of her, you know, what do they call that? Her little furlough or whatever until she picked this up. For her to come
yeah,
out of that to come back and play this part that was so iconic in everybody's eyes, I feel like she was only going to do it if they were doing it the right way. First of all, second part is they're doing it on Hulu, which means it's going to be 10 episodes. They're not going to run a
okay,
24 episode show, so they're going to put a lot of effort into the storytelling within those 10 episodes.
mm-hmm,
And when you look back at what Buffy was, I mean, it was essentially, and I believe it was our cousin that pointed this out to us. The monsters in Buffy were basically the same thing as what the Power Rangers were fighting.
yeah,
You know, their costumes
for
were
nerds.
just costumes were so like cheesy and kind of lame, especially you look back on it. But for a
Oh,
late
it
'90s,
was bad.
yeah, but for a
It
late
was
'90s show, it was all right.
It wasn't
oh,
that bad. I mean,
yeah.
listen, the one-liners that she had, like, really, like, she was like a coming of age story. Like, there was nothing like it out there at that point. And like, every girl was like, dude, she's a badass. Like, I want to be like that. And I think that's like that was a big part of it. 'Cause you see all these superheroes, and most of the time they're men. And to have one that's a female really kind of helped. And I'm not a feminist, but like that women empowerment, you know? Like, this bitch is out there fighting vampires. I mean, she's also banging them, but like, you know,
And
give or
Yeah,
take here.
I like Buffy because it was interesting. It was a good story. It was I like a good sci-fi that's gonna tell a good story. That's all that matters to me.
and there was a
Um,
ton of lore built into it too.
and lore, yeah. Uh, you know, there was a lot of like crazy cheesy stuff like, oh, we're a high school and we happen to be like built on the Hellmouth, and but and like I think there's gonna be a lot of people that don't understand it because, like, okay, there's lesbians, and then there's women that are very tough, and you know what I mean. Like,
Mm.
there's a lot of stuff that's gonna be that's gonna be complained about. You
One of
know,
my yeah, well, so one of my favorite stories from just the making of Buffy was when they did the episode where she drinks beer, and her and like the guys she was drinking beer with all become like cave people, basically.
uh
Mm-hmm.
huh.
So, do you know the story behind that episode?
No.
Oh,
So, so they used to get government grants for having episodes that had a very specific message in it. That was like an anti-drug, anti-alcohol, whatever, right? So they made this episode basically to get that funding or whatever. But it was so bad they never got it. Like the episode was
Really?
like they said it was one of the worst episodes ever made, and they were like it was so stupid that they never even got the money for it because it was that bad at displaying the message.
but here's the thing: Buffy's a perfect example of I don't give a shit if you're woke. If it's good,
Mm,
then it's good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that's what matters. That's a difference between that and like Supergirl, where it's like, let's make this show about her lesbian sister and like have everything about that.
Yeah.
Also, I just found this out just to segue real quick. I found out that her sister, the lesbian sister on Supergirl, is Janie from Not Another Teen Movie. Didn't know that.
I think we mentioned that.
Did we?
Yeah,
We may have. We've done a few of these now.
she was also in Grey's Anatomy.
Oh. Well, anyways, back to
She
Buffy.
was Grey's sister.
I thought, I always loved the Buffy show, and I agree with you. I think it was a very good show for, uh, like women empowerment type of thing. Because, like, the
Yeah.
guys in there are always kind of like not, I don't know if I want to call weaklings, but they were kind of the damsels at some point.
Yeah, she was always saving him. I mean, look at Xander. He was the fluff character. Like, he really didn't do much except add some
No,
comedic relief.
he was kind of like a nerd that like always like wanted to like be a part of things, but like sucked. And like he was like jealous of Angel,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm all about women's empowerment, especially
yeah,
being like a girl dad.
yeah.
I actually liked the live action Aladdin.
I liked it. I thought that was a good one.
Hmm.
Um, and well, who else? Nathan Fillion. That like, pretty sure that Buffy was his big break too.
No, he was on. There was a show that he was
He
on.
he might have been in. He was probably in some other stuff before that, but I feel like Buffy was kind of his big break, and he was like pretty young during that.
You think? Yeah, maybe. I mean, none of these characters really went on to do a whole lot outside of it, outside of like Allison Hannigan and David Boreanaz and I mean Sarah Michelle Gellar, but like you don't.
Harriet the Spy in it.
Yeah.
She did
Oh yeah,
Euro Trip.
yeah, she was annoying. I hope they don't bring her back. Um,
I don't think she does anything anymore.
no, they can bring back Spike though. I was a big Spike fan.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Think-
we'll have to see. So they did. One of the things we'll have to see is if they do use the comic books as continuity. So, because there was 2 additional seasons done in comic books that were canon after Buffy ended, and there was 2 or 3 seasons of Angel that were continued after that show ended too. So, did Spike survive in Angel? Because you didn't watch Angel, but Spike was on Angel for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. I
Yeah.
mean, I know he died at the end of Buffy
He
by
comes back.
sacrifice. Oh, well, shit. Then I would have started watching Angel. I love Spike. I was a big Spike fan. Like, fuck Angel. Spike was where it's at.
I liked Angel. Angel was.
Um,
I still think Angel was the better show.
I mean, Spike was Billy Idol.
Yeah.
he was. He was, but he was funny and he had that sex appeal. He was also in, what was he in? But he was,
Oh yeah, he was in another show.
oh, it was a witch show. Witches of East End. He was in that. And I was like, oh my God, that's Spike, but obviously much older because it's been like 20 years or however long it's been. And I was like, whoa, he's still hot though. I don't care.
He also played a witch in Supernatural. Him and Charisma Carpenter.
Yep, yep, yep. He's got his type. But I'm
In your
curious, like,
favorite season,
which one?
the Leviathan season.
Oh God, yeah, so bad. I might just watch that since we're getting that snowstorm. Buffy or Supernatural for the
He was
50th
in
time.
Smallville too.
Yeah, he was in Smallville.
Yeah.
He was Brainiac, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that was right. That's right.
But are they okay? So is it going to be like Buffy's daughter that they're doing the revival? Is that what?
So, the only thing I've really heard is I guess it's going to be Buffy mentoring a young Slayer. They didn't say whether it's her daughter or anything. They just said she's going to be mentoring a young Slayer.
I mean, if she's banging vampires all the time,
Is she the best?
who's she
mentor?
married? Did she marry that military guy? Who did she?
No,
No,
no.
she didn't marry anybody. She was with Spike at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can't
No.
give you babies.
Well, in Twilight they could, so
Yeah, but those aren't real vampires.
Nobody's talking about fucking Twilight. We're not here to talk about that.
look at me.
Twilight fans
I'm
don't even
covered
like
in
Twilight.
glitter.
They're gonna have 2 Twilight people at Comic-Con, and my wife doesn't even care because it's not like Jake and Edward or whatever their names are.
Who is it?
Jake?
Yeah.
It's the dude that's that doctor in that show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Like
And
the
so-
dad in the show?
No. He's a he's a doctor in some comedy show. Adam would know.
oh,
Adam knows what I'm talking about because he watched it.
in St. Denis,
No,
which of Scrubs?
Peter Fasinelli,
Yeah, yeah.
and then the other one, I don't think he's as known. Where is he at?
Oh, there's
Jackson Rathbone.
Oh God. Wait, if you want some really funny, mindless stuff, there's like people like redo him from the Twilight movies, like on Instagram, just type in like Jasper parody or whatever, and like because in the entire Twilight series, it just looks like he's in pain and he's got this look where it's like, ugh. But like whoever redoes it, it's spot on and it's fantastic.
Never mind. I thought he was a doctor in a comedy show, and apparently it was Nurse Jackie.
Oh. Well, either way, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't like go out of my way to see them.
No, my wife said, So I'm
Yeah.
like, well, why are you going? You don't even care about any of this.
Even Robert Pattinson doesn't like Twilight.
No.
He's very outspoken about how much he dislikes the fact that he was in those movies. But he needed something to launch his career.
I mean, the movies weren't good.
Well, no.
Every time I watch them, I kind of hate myself a little bit more. It's in one of those self-loathing phases where I'm like, how much lower can I get? Let's put on Twilight.
I remember taking Just to a midnight showing of, I don't know if it was the last one or what, and instantly falling asleep.
I mean, a werewolf falls in love with a baby.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
I've really watched any of them. I think I have.
I've never watched any of them. I just know stuff about them.
I
think
rewatched them recently I think I sent it in our family group chat, and I was like, oh, I hate this so much, but I'm gonna continue to watch it. And it was even worse rewatching it. I'm like, why am I doing this? And I read the books too. The books were better, I will say that. But like they're still like watching like this man who's supposed to be this predator and he's like, just look at me, look at this monster I am. And it's like, bro, you're just colored or you're covered in glitter. It's not
But
scary.
you know who's gonna be at Comic Con that I should be less excited about, but I'm really excited about?
Hmm.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Oh,
And he also voices Spectre in a new cartoon.
Huh.
And I'm gonna have him sign up to Spectre Funko. Anyways, back to Buffy.
back
I
to
don't know
Yes.
why. I've always loved La Bamba. That's why.
Now, Buffy is. I am very excited to see what they end up doing with her.
And by the way, I'm meeting Charisma Carpenter.
Yes, we know you're very excited about that.
Taking my
I'd be
shot.
very excited too.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll
Yeah.
come back as a zombie. I can ask her if she's gonna be there. If she come back, if she'll maybe she'll come back as a zombie.
I forgot. How did she die in Angel?
Oh, it's been so long.
I
I
know.
probably can't tell you very much about Buffy right now. It's been like 20 years.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I know that she gave birth to some goddess or something. Like I remember that happening, and then she was like in a coma, and then I think she just died. I think they just died. I don't know, but so that was the sad part. So with Buffy, at least like most of the crew she started with comes out on the other side at the end of the show. For
Guess who's
Angel,
gonna be there?
all of the OG crew, none of them made it to the end.
Mm.
Jonathan Frakes.
Oh, Riker.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sorry.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see who signs on and how they redo it. Like, are they gonna bring back the witches and all the other ones? They have to do one musical episode at least because that was my favorite.
I don't think they need to do
Um,
another musical episode.
It was so good. Come
It was-
on.
It was not that good.
It was so good. Spike's anthem
It was not
every
that good.
time. I loved it.
It was not
Agree to
that good.
disagree. But what we could do is when
You're
it
a
does come out,
flamboyant musical lover. What are you talking about?
Listen.
You're
Don't
like,
get me wrong.
it's
I
fabulous.
like musicals. Okay, big
I
fan.
know you do.
Yeah, they're good.
And fruit.
Listen, just because you don't like them doesn't mean that nobody else can
I
enjoy
love
them.
musicals.
Have you ever seen Sweeney Todd? Amazing.
No.
it is
Why-
good. You would
I
probably
don't-
like it.
I don't watch that crap.
It's Tim Burton at his finest. I'll tell you that much.
No, I
Yeah.
watch real musicals like Labyrinth.
It's not a musical, but
Yes,
okay.
it is.
Labyrinth
I
is
went
not a
to
musical.
Labyrinth in concert a couple months ago. You remind me of the babe. What babe? Babe with the power. What power? The power of voodoo. Voodoo you do.
Voodoo.
Remind me of the babe.
It's
Oh,
and
my
listen,
baby.
I am a big Labyrinth fan, but having two songs does not make it a musical.
No.
Pretty sure 2 songs makes it a musical.
Well, that's like
But there's
that's
more
like
than 2
Charlie.
songs.
That's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder. Like, there's randomly songs in that movie. Like the Oompa Loompas, I get their thing is kind of separate.
I think the
But then
problem
there's
is
the-
there's a
the-
lot of songs in it. There's just only like 1 or 2 memorable songs.
Right. The Cheer Up Charlie song. Who remembers that song? That song sucks. I forgot that was in the movie until I watched the CinemaSins video on it. I'm like, oh yeah, that is in there, isn't it?
That's the thing. They are musicals. Now,
It's not really a musical.
it is.
There's a musical number in it.
Yeah, that's not a
That's
musical.
what makes the musical.
It's
In real,
that doesn't make
in
it
real
musical.
life, you don't break out in musical. Okay, I kind of do, but
All the time.
Yeah,
I've heard it.
I mean, same. I dance around and I sing in my place when nobody's around. But
now something that shouldn't be a musical. Joker 2, by the way.
Yeah, you mentioned
I-
that.
did not finish that movie. Once him and Lady Gaga broke out of the asylum and started singing and dancing, I was like, this is it. I'm done.
It wasn't even that was bad. The movie was bad, and like, what made it worse is I'm trying to watch it, and it was bad, and these people come in, show up late, The whole theater's empty, but they decide to sit right down the row from me, and the dude is holding all this food, like buys everything, and he's just grabbing every wrapper as loud as he can be, and chewing as loud as and slurping his drink, and then singing along with the songs. And I'm like, do you know these songs? And laughing at the jokes. That's not even a joke. And I'm like, what are you laughing at? He's just laughing. And then he's turning and talking to his wife and then laughing. And I'm like, that wasn't a joke, dude. And I got up and walked on the other side of the theater, and he still kept doing it and didn't get the hint. Sorry, I just went on a rant.
Well, it's like those movie theaters where it's like full on service with the waiters and everything, and they're in like stadium seating, so like you should be able to see over it, and it shouldn't disrupt you. It always disrupts me. Like I say always, I've done it twice, and I'll be sitting there and I'm watching these servers come through and take orders and like during the movie, and it's like it's distracting to me, and maybe that's me and my own issues, but like it's the same thing. It's like those rappers. Like the minute you hear them unwrap, it's just like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, so when you go to those places that have servers coming around and stuff, you kind of just know you're going to be a little distracted by it. Like, there's no way around it.
I used to love that. What was that, Hollywood Palms?
Yeah. Hollywood
Yeah.
Palms, that was
I
the
used to
best.
Yeah.
love that, but like, I'll just sneak in a burrito from Kidoba.
Yeah. Well, I remember going to see Attack of the Clones, and I saw that I think opening night. If it wasn't opening night, it was the opening weekend. But like, I just remember sitting in the seats, and this was back, obviously, a while ago before they had the recliners and the nice seats. And like, so I'm in this tiny seat next to this guy who's extremely overweight, and like, I can just hear him breathing the whole fucking movie. Like, I just hear him like a true Star Wars fucking nerd that you would picture. And he's just sitting there breathing like that the whole time, and I was like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, I'm not a movie theater person. Like I liked it in COVID when it was very like you couldn't have a bunch of people, and so it was nice. We would go Tuesday movie night club, so it was cheap, and we would just buy up tickets and go like a group of us. But then like it was spaced out, so you didn't have a ton of people near you. It was fantastic. And then now that they pack everybody in again, it's like you can hear everything going on around you. And like
Yeah.
Kim and I have this problem where we hate listening to people chew or drink or pretty much exist. So it's like, ugh.
Well, I don't go to see movies on opening weekend anymore because it's too crowded. I usually don't see it till like 2 or 3 weeks after it's out in theaters.
Yeah.
That's usually when we'll go. I think I did see Beetlejuice opening weekend though.
Yeah, you went with Dad because you guys didn't invite me. It was actually
Yeah.
quite rude, but which was probably better because I also did not think that movie was great.
Yeah. Well, you're wrong.
Keto juice?
Yeah, the second one.
You didn't think it was great?
No, they were like it's so good, and I saw it on Plex, and I was like, this did not meet my expectations. There were just too many little storylines, and then they just like ended. There wasn't like really great closure. It was like, oh wait, we got to kill this person off now. How are we gonna do this? Oh, we're gonna just throw them out. Like the designs were great. I love that they stuck to the same kind of like
No, the
80s.
whole point was for you to think that it was going one way and then it goes the other way.
It's called the Kansas City Shuffle.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
The whole point was for you to go, oh, this is the bad guy, but then that wasn't the bad guy. This is the bad guy.
It was
I
a
knew
neither-
that
It was a
too
Netherworld
metaphor.
adventure. That's what it was.
I knew that the young guy that was talking to what's her face? The daughter. I can't think of her name. Either way, I knew that he was the bad guy. I knew he was dead from the get-go. I was like, this motherfucker's dead and he's gonna end up doing something fucking stupid. Called that.
Mhm.
I was really upset that they killed off Bob.
Well, yeah,
Yes,
that was,
that
very
was the
sad
worst
ending for
part.
Bob.
Yeah. Yeah. That
I
was
don't
sad.
know if you knew that Bob was going to be such a lovable character.
Yeah.
Everybody liked Bob.
Bob was great. Bob just was, you know, a loyal,
But you
loyal
know
friend.
what? I loved him back in the day too.
Yeah.
You know what I loved about the second Beetlejuice movie was the evolution of the characters since the first one. Specifically, when you're talking about Beetlejuice. When you see Beetlejuice in the first movie, he's basically a car salesman trying to sell his service of bioexorcism. You know, like, I mean, he's just being wild, he's talking fast, he's doing all these things. By the time you get to the second movie, he has his own business with a call center where he's accepting jobs, and the little shrunken head people are answering the phones for him. Like, he's got his own business going on. He doesn't have to sell so hard. Like,
Yeah.
really, it's, you know, it's the story about about an entrepreneur who becomes successful but didn't ever make time for love. Okay, that's what the story is.
You know, I also had an issue with Lydia's dad. He was killed by being eaten by a shark and he's walking around, but he doesn't have a head or a face. So how does he know where he's going?
He's a ghost.
Yeah, couldn't
But
exactly have a head or a
In
face in
Ghost,
that
you see him
movie.
for in the afterlife. You see him 4D. In real life, they had to do that because he's a pedophile.
Yeah.
oh, I was unaware of that. But
Yeah, he got in trouble for child pornography.
Yeah.
fair, but it was just very
That's
confusing
why
to
everything was
me.
claymation, and then they did that.
And it's
So
crazy because
they had to like figure something out.
he was in so many movies like in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
Bueller.
Yeah.
Devil's
Ferris Bueller.
Advocate.
Uh-huh, Devil's Advocate. Like, if you look through it, like, he was in just about everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then he just disappeared for some reason,
Yeah, for some
Oh.
reason. Not, yeah, mostly having to do with pedophilia.
and he wasn't dead.
But
But-
like, yeah, Beetlejuice 2. I think I did not like they did such a great job with that Deo scene, and then they brought in this song that I did not recognize, and it just went on and on and on and on and on in the wedding scene, and I was like, please make this end. Just-
I mean, it definitely wasn't as good as the first one.
Yeah.
I still had fun with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Absolutely.
just what mattered to me. I wasn't like blown away by it. I did have fun with like this one Christian dude who was like, there was this one scene where people were laughing and I didn't think it was funny. Where the guy pulled he didn't say the dude, but he pulled a lever and he went down into a sea of flames and the whole theater laughed, but I didn't laugh because he went to hell. And that's not funny, folks. Going to hell isn't funny. And
What an idiot.
I'm like, that was hilarious though. Even
It
though like
was.
that wasn't even a funny. I don't think anybody really laughed at that. But I think you're funny.
Oh, I laughed at it when Beetlejuice just says, later, fucker.
It's funny because he deserved to go to hell.
But that was one of those moments where it was just like, oh wait, we got to wrap this up, and that's how they do it.
And Beetlejuice just sent a guy to hell.
Yeah.
Demonstrates his power.
Yeah, I mean, I also guess I didn't realize that Beetlejuice is actually a demon and not just a ghost.
He's exorcist,
Bioexorcist.
bioexorcist.
So yeah, he is. So he is a ghost because they give his backstory in there. In that
Yeah.
film thing. So he was murdered,
Right.
and then he ended up in the afterlife, and then, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you become a demon over time. I have no idea, but I don't know how it works.
They don't really explain it too much.
No.
I mean, what is Bob? Is
Yeah.
Bob a demon? Is he a ghost?
Yeah.
Why are there so many of them?
Well, no, because didn't he get his head shrunk by the
Yeah,
Good
by the
doctor.
voodoo. Yeah. I also don't think I know what a bioexorcist is.
he
it's like an
gets
exorcist.
people
but
out of your
kills
house.
People.
Hmm. Okay.
He
You gotta
he
say his name 3
exorc-
times. He comes, and you can get people out of your house.
Yeah, but why bio? Is that like means like people?
Biological.
biological people. Yeah,
Okay. I guess I was confused.
it's okay. We're used to it.
I read books.
She was in the advanced classes. Don't worry. She read smart books.
A is
She
for
didn't read where the
apple.
sidewalk ends like us dumb kids.
Ugh.
The sidewalk
Anyway.
ends in your grade?
Oh Lord, it brought me to
Our
the short
sidewalk
bus.
just keeps going in squares.
Yeah, I kind of negated everything I said earlier with that
You did.
comment. It's fair. That's fair. I just have to sometimes talk things out to understand it. Okay.
Sure.
Earlier, I was in my office working, and I'm like, I was trying to think. I was writing an email to a client, and I'm sitting there, and I'm staring at my friend Chris, and he's like, "You look like you're in pain. What's going on?" And I'm like, I don't know if I want to say it. And I like Googled it. Here was the problem. I couldn't remember the name of Soldier Field. And I was like, what is the Bears Stadium? I'm like, he's like, you literally look like you're in pain trying to think. I'm like, I was. I was.
I do that
So,
sometimes when I'm tired.
yeah, we're gonna go with that. But yeah, I think we have like back to the whole thing. We just went on a whole like supernatural style rant, which I knew was gonna happen. Buffy coming out, fantastic, super pumped. I think we should do a watch party to see how it
Maybe. I
goes.
don't know. All these reboots sometimes aren't good, so I don't know what it's going to be. I
Yeah.
mean, because is Joss Whedon going to be involved? There's
No.
controversy
No, I don't
with
think so.
him.
No, I think that's why Sarah Michelle Gellar was okay to sign on was because he wasn't involved.
Yeah, I forget if there's some moments. I'm trying to remember who exactly what her name is. But yeah, I don't think that
The
he's
female
involved.
writer? Well,
Yeah,
it's not going to be good.
Well, if they bring what's her name from Supernatural,
Sarah Gamble.
yeah, if they bring
That's
her
not
in,
her.
it would be good.
What season? Is it the Leviathan season?
No, she didn't do that one, did she?
No, I don't think so.
Because whoever wrote that needs to never write again.
Liberals love me.
Well, that was the first season that they did without. No, I'm sorry. That was the second season they did without Eric Kripke.
Hmm.
Because Eric Kripke wrote the show, and he started the whole thing.
Maybe they bring McGee in.
McGee would be good if they brought him in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the name of this woman so I could figure out. But yeah, no, Joss Whedon is not going to be involved in it because I know he obviously had issues with Ray Fisher from the Justice League movie, who accused him of being very racist. Chloe Zhao is the girl's name, the director's name. So yeah, but Joss Whedon had that, and then like all this other stuff started coming out. Like apparently he couldn't be alone in a room with Michelle Trachtenberg because he was creeping. When Sarah Michelle Gellar was asked about him and his behavior on set, she just declined to answer anything.
Yeah. I remember reading that. But then she came out after it was all said and done and she like spoke out.
Yeah.
So weird. Holly weird.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting. It's either going to be amazing or it's going to be a shit show. There's not going to be an in between where it's like, okay, this is all right.
Okay.
Like, why do these people get in, like, why are these creative people, you see what I'm saying, like, perverts?
I don't know. It's got to be a power thing.
Yeah. I'm sure it is. It's probably a power play and it's probably like they maybe they're kind of like somehow like not into reality, where they're like, I can get away with this, but this is their reality, you know?
Did you ever see The Dictator? They basically explain it in that.
It's been
With
forever.
There's never been a
was
time in my life as an adult where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try to get with this child,
no.
Right.
or there's never been a time where I'm gonna try to exert my power over this woman that doesn't want my attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I don't know what I do when I'm drunk, but
Well, I've been
No,
around when you've been drunk and you've never tried to go after kids, so
yeah. There's like, but like men in those powerful positions, and I know this, from experience, they think that just because they have money or stature that they can do whatever they want and say whatever they want and get away with it, and nobody's going to talk back to them because they've been built up at whether at their jobs, and like everybody's afraid to lose their jobs or whatever the case may be. And so it's like, oh, how much can I get away with before this actually takes effect? And for a lot of people it's a lot. A lot of these men do get away with it because people are afraid to say something, and then they meet me
just
and
weird
I
because it
don't
just
care.
wouldn't feel right. Like,
Well, that's because you're
to
not
force
an
somebody to
asshole.
do something like that
yeah.
that didn't really want to,
Right.
it feels so icky.
It does.
Well,
It
that's
feels
because you're
so
a good
disgusting.
person.
It just seems like such a disgusting thing.
Yeah.
It just feels like, to me, to even think about that, it just feels disgusting.
Yeah, it is, and it's messed up. And I'm not talking about the child aspect of it. I'm talking about like
Well,
like
anybody, to anybody,
adult
to do that to
women.
anybody,
Yeah.
Right, right. But like I'm touching on like
to
being
say
from,
like, to say like, do this and I'll give you a promotion.
yeah,
That
The
feels
quid
like an icky thing.
the quid pro quo as we call it.
Yeah,
the
it just
casting couch.
I'm
like,
very
I
good
know
at
you
my
don't really
HR
want
stuff.
this, but hey, I'll give you something, or I'll
Yeah.
give you benefits, like,
Right.
I don't know. It doesn't feel, something about it just gives me the ick.
Yeah.
Well, but you also have to realize a lot of people didn't say anything. I mean, look at all these stories that are coming out now because people were getting away with it. But I think now that more people are speaking out, I think I mean, it still happens, but probably not as bad as it used to. But who knows what other stories like haven't come out that we haven't heard from, the 70s, 80s with these directors or people in power. And it's probably like this is probably not even bad. Like the stuff that people put up with way back when was probably way worse.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's like if you ever get a chance, watch the movie Bombshell. Me and Sarah watched that one time, and it was pretty good. But that was all about the one with um, Roger Ailes from Fox News. Remember, like his big scandal?
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Oh yeah, it was basically trading sexual favors for promotions and stuff at Fox News. It was a
Dang.
huge deal, really big deal. Like he was outed. I think Megyn Kelly outed him actually,
Mm-hmm.
but there was like a lot of people that he had done that to, and it was like a huge thing, and they had told him to step down. He was like the big wig at Fox,
Mm.
I think, right under Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, and it was probably so common, and it is still common. I mean,
But like, to step in that world and
Hmm.
look around and be like, oh, this is common. That's weird.
Right.
Like, how do you not go like, oh, this is horrific. you know?
Well, and it's just like the Diddy parties. Remember, Diddy was like he was getting blackmail on everybody, so nobody would ever say anything about what he was doing.
mhm.
And that's the thing, is like, I do research all this stuff, but I guess it's the same thing as like going to Afghanistan and seeing how they live
Hmm.
and being like, wow, this is horrific. You know,
Yeah.
like, and I do research dark web and all this stuff, and think, wow, this is the way I look at what normal is, and the way other people look at what normal is some people, not to say I don't have, I have lots of trauma. And, I guess the way I used to look at what life is trauma was normal, you know. But then, when you think of like Hollywood and like Diddy parties or maybe a war torn country, that's normal to them, you know, uh, or um, like was it Hollywood or certain careers needed to do sexual favors or whatever, or to get to the top or to be relevant is normal. I think I heard one story. I think it was like Faith No More. Where they were talking about this woman. I don't know if I talked about this. Did I talk about this?
I don't think so.
She
I
was
don't
giving
think so.
head to everybody in the band of their band and Soundgarden's band, and he stopped her and he was like, "Why do you do this?" And she was like, "Because this is how I get everybody to pay attention to me." And he's like, "Okay," and then he continued having her doing it. You know,
Yeah.
it was like weird because it's like we still had her do it.
Yeah.
Like, but this is like normal for you to like have damaged people do that to you. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird world out there. I much prefer to think of like the rock bands behind the scenes like it was in Wayne's World,
Yeah.
where you have uh, Alice Cooper talking about the Native American tribes of Wisconsin. Actually, it's pronounced Milwaukee. That's what I imagine actually happens.
Wade Fest.
Yeah.
And it
But
probably does more now because
okay,
everyone's afraid.
they should be. That's a good thing. People should absolutely be afraid. There's still cocksuckers out there doing bullshit to people.
Yeah.
Um. Well, I think there's still. I think the problem is there's desperate people out there. There's still people to do whatever they need to do to get attention.
Right.
That's the
Right.
problem.
So it's not going to stop because you're right. There are those people that are damaged enough or have enough trauma where they're like, well, if this is how I can get attention, I'm going to continue to do this
Right.
because I'm validating myself. So it's never going to stop,
Right.
but hopefully it gets lesser.
It's called OnlyFans.
Right.
You know how
And
much money those people
going by
make?
if we're
Ridiculous
going
amounts.
by our conspiracy theories, the only reason P Diddy got caught is because he pissed somebody off.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't get caught because the FBI decided one day, or just found out one day. They all knew about this
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. He pissed somebody off and then it blew up and here we are. I still have to look in all that. I have been slacking a lot. Also don't have all the channels that you guys do, so I'm a little behind. And I have a
Yeah,
really bad memory, so I forget the names of things.
yeah. I think that's all deleted and not as prevalent now.
Yeah.
Harder to find. For for a while it was all like easy to find, and I think it's all getting deleted and stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the rich do is they hire the fixers and everything starts to disappear and gets pushed away. That's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Um. Okay. Well,
I feel like we
anything
should
else
end it on
before
a
we?
happier note.
Yeah, we need a happy note, guys. That was depressing. Went into a real
I'd say
spiral.
I did. Me and Sarah did start watching Glow finally. I know it's been out
Glow?
forever. Yeah,
That's like
Gorgeous
100
Ladies
years
of
old.
Wrestling.
Oh,
I know.
well,
Oh,
you did see Brie. What's her name's boobs
Allison
in it?
Brie. Yeah. Yeah.
speaking
she knows already.
of, I watched the Royal Rumble.
Did you see me?
I was looking for you. I was gonna text you, but I don't know if you had your phone on you. I watched it. I missed the women's portion, but I watched it the next day because I was late. But I did love seeing, oh my God, the Nikki Bella come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alexa
For
Bliss
me.
came back.
You what?
Alexa Bliss came back. That's what everybody was excited about.
I do like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Steve got really excited about that.
Yes. She's the only person. She's the only wrestler my daughter likes. But
Yeah.
I did get to meet like 100 wrestlers.
Yeah, it looked fun. It was intense. The one, oh my God, when I can't remember who it was. I'm not a big wrestling fan, but when they had all the ladders coming out and the one guy was like, I mean, they were just tossing each other onto the ladders. I was like, this
Cody
dude just
Rhodes
broke his
versus
neck.
Cody Rhodes and
Yeah.
Kevin Owens. Yeah, Kevin Owens took a big bump. He took a couple big bumps. He did took a backdrop on
Yeah.
on the ladder in the ring, but then he was gonna power bomb Cody Rhodes off the announce table onto the ladder, but Cody Rhodes picked him up and did an Alabama slam onto the ladder, and Cody Rhodes is bleeding all over the place. It was great.
Yes.
Good
Yes.
job.
I was like, this is
That's who I'm
intense.
wearing right now, KO.
Adam's like, what are you guys talking
Oh, I
about?
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I
Oh,
met uh, Jerry the King Lawler. He's the guy who wrestled Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Uh, I met Badass Billy Gunn. He was one of Degeneration X.
Yep.
mm-hmm.
Road Dog, Road Dog Jesse James, Badass Billy Gunn, New Age Outlaws. I met Rick Steiner. Oh. I met so if you know uh, what's his name? Never mind, I'm not gonna. I met the Headbangers. I met Honky Tonk Man. I met $1 Million Man. I met John Moxley. I met Jake the Snake Roberts.
Should
I
we go
met
through who you didn't meet, maybe? That might be a shorter list.
oh, there's a lot I didn't meet too, but I'm surprised Adam didn't get excited that I met Stingray.
No, I saw that. I didn't say anything about it, but yes, I saw that. I was very happy for you. He's in something coming up that I was excited about. I can't remember what it was. He was in something though. God, what was it? It's pretty. I want to say it was a franchise of some sort.
He's nice. He was nice as hell though.
Yeah. What's
He
his
gave me a
name?
free autograph because I was a veteran. I just wanted a picture. He gave me a free autograph, and
Yeah, I'm trying to remember
um,
what his name was. He's. Where is
he's a great actor too.
he? He
He's
is.
Richard Jewell.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in Fantastic Four.
Is he? Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
I don't know who he is in Fantastic Four. He's gonna be in the Naked Gun.
That's what it was. He's gonna be in the Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. No,
Yeah.
yeah, Liam Neeson.
Oh shit! I didn't know there was gonna be a new Naked Gun.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about that. I love the Naked Gun series. I catch a clip on Facebook every now and then, and I just laugh my ass off. Like Leslie
Oh.
Nielsen was just the man. His delivery was so perfect, and I think Liam Neeson can replicate that.
I'm gonna have to watch Blackbirds. He's in this movie Blackbirds with Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
I guess it's a mini series on Apple
know.
TV. A fallen hero, a serial killer, and a dangerous bargain for redemption.
No idea.
Anyways, he was a pretty cool guy though.
Yeah.
He's 38 years old, man. Anyways,
Yeah.
is that a good enough way to end
Yeah.
it though?
I
Is
think
that
that's a good
happy
way to
enough?
end. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Is
think
that
that's a
fucking
happy
is
ending.
that fucking happy? Huh?
That,
And then I got
Fucking happy.
fucking sick
It's
from
like
at the
a-
Royal Rumble.
it's a happy ending.
It's a happy ending for all of us.
Praise Jesus.
Yeah, so call us out of here.
Except for the guy
Alright.
that went to hell in Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Fuck that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, not a happy ending.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us again for another episode of the Spit Take Podcast. Make sure to check us out next week, and we hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Level up, guys. Okay. God, Steph, you're taking so long.
Why?